Hey, you're watching Summer by Six. This is going to be the first video in between making some music and playing a lot of video games and waiting for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm going to be making some videos about games and stuff. So this is the first one. I'm going to talk about 5 games that I found on the Switch while I was on holiday. These were all really good value titles. The only problem I've got now is that I've been playing my Switch so much that I keep cancelling stuff on the PlayStation because the circle button is where the A button is, and so if you're used to pressing that A button to say okay, then you go onto PlayStation and it's X, obviously. And actually, when Final Fantasy VII come out, it had a really weird control setup because you had to press X to cancel and to run, and then you had to press OK with the circle button, and that was really counterintuitive to everything that was out at the time. But Final Fantasy VII had been programming for Nintendo, so they must have been used to having an OK button there. You see, I never played JRPGs on the SNES because I lived in Britain and we didn't have like JRPGs over there. The main body of us were playing like Zelda, Metroid, obviously, Super Metroid, awesome game. But JRPGs we didn't get into, so FF7 turn-based combat. I cannot wait for Rebirth, but FF7 turn-based combat JRPG mechanic. Oh, what an amazing game. Anyway, I digress. So these games, like the first couple I'm going to talk about, are like they are PG rated, but the other ones are like all adult 18 plus content ratings. So they deal with really adult themes, like not limited to suicide, abuse, child abuse, murder, rape, addiction. So fair warning, I'm discussing that stuff, these games and their content. Viewer discretion is advised there. So first game that caught my eye was The Room. This is a really nice little game. It uses a motion controller to solve a bunch of different puzzles. It's a really basic game. There's no talking, there's no dialogue. It's literally just the gameplay mechanic. There is like a skeleton of narrative clues that give you just enough to keep you intrigued, but without really giving you any clue as to what the consequences of your actions may be. So first off, I really, really like this. I grew up in the time of 16-bit games and the ethos of work it out for yourself. So while I like being able to pick up a game like Halo, obviously, brilliant tutorial, gets you familiarized with the game, difficulty curve, all of that sort of thing. Right, that's a really well done intro. Original games, like there were plenty that just chucked you in. I mean, you might have some intro in the manual when you've got a manual of the game that would give you like an outline of how the controls work and stuff. But really, you get chucked in the game and it would just be like, you got to know how games worked, so you knew that like jump mechanics had weird like things that you do, like you had to crouch to jump higher. You could change direction and jump. All of that sort of stuff. You got used to certain stuff, but there was plenty of stuff. There was plenty of puzzles that you had to work out yourself. And there was no, if you were really, really stuck in a game, you could ring the Nintendo hotline. And I think they played the tune from Ren and Stimpy, which was really, really screwed up listening to that for like, on a loop for a long time. But one thing that sort of it's always left me cold is if you just, if you stop for like 5 seconds, the game says, oh, try this, or like, oh, have you tried pressing this button? And it's like, man, let me work this out for myself, dude. Back up. So now I guess these days, like you've got accessibility concerns. And, everyone's got to be able to play the game. It's nice to be able to sort of turn that off or turn it down, to whatever level you're comfortable with. So in The Room, you're given a quick run through of the mechanics. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. The motion control of the Nintendo has always been pretty intuitive anyway. So, you just get left a cryptic note to explore and solve the puzzle of this like massive old like 1930s magician's safe. Okay, right, that appeals to me anyway because I like old-timey things. So you've got these like kind of numerous little intricate mechanisms that you've got to find. Once you found the puzzle, you've got to kind of work out whether you need a piece or whether you need to press something, or you've got to think about it. And it's numerous little mechanisms that have to be primed and then manipulated to get to the next stage. And the whole way playing that, I really felt like Uncle Frank in Hellraiser, just sitting there with the puzzle box, the Le Marchand configuration, and just being led on the puzzle to sort of solve this to solve this box. So it's got a real nice sort of magic, old like magic sort of very it's set in this situation of a mage's house, an old mage's house. So it's got that very kind of Lovecraft feeling, and that's going to be a theme with all of these games. God, I wish I stumbled across a real life situation of this game, man. You have to you have to search, work out what and how you can flip each switch, how to turn each key, and crack each code basically. And there'll be times when you're genuinely stumped and you have to go back and like reload the chapter and just go through it from the beginning to find something that maybe you've missed. It's a perseverance game. It's just satisfying to have a game that's like willing to leave you with a puzzle, knowing that you won't be able but to come back and like solve it, when you've worked it out. So that's thumbs up for that one. I mean, okay, so it's not meant to level or anything, but it's definitely diverse enough to need a bit of perseverance, a little effort, and it's rewarding to be allowed to explore without your hand being held. It's the journey of a few hours in all, but it's dead satisfying and fun. It's kind of like playing the Crystal Maze. It's nice if you have if you have someone there playing it with you, you can like bounce it off each other, and yeah, it's quite a good social little adventure. As soon as I finished it, which I think it was like 4 or 5 levels, which each have like 10, 20 puzzles that you've got to figure out. Once you get to the end, it sets the scene for a sequel, and yeah, straight away I bought the sequel, which was on sale again for like $169 or something. So worthwhile. It definitely kills a few hours, and I actually played them through again a second time, and they were fun again. On sale, well, no more than £3. Definite thumbs up. Okay, next off, The Suicide of Rachel Foster. Now, I know all of these games aren't like brand new, like plenty of people may have played these, but I think I saw this advertised a little while ago, and it's like a video novel. So you're playing through a story, making some story choices, exploring, seeing what happens. Very dark story, but worthwhile, worth exploring. And I'm a total pussy when it comes to horror games. Anyway, I mean, the first Resident Evil, when that came out, I stopped playing around the snake because it ate me. And I think that I played Resident Evil 3 a bit, and that stars thing running after you, and it could run off screen as well. It came to the next screen, and it like scores. Oh man, like I had to just leave off. It wasn't until like 20 years later I managed to like power through. But I need the other half in the room now when I play these games, because they get to points where I just can't take another step. So and hats off to this game. There were places where I just did not want to go another step forward. The horror vibe in this film nailed it. Absolutely fucking nailed it. It draws a lot of inspiration from The Shining, definitely, and I love that film. Very well scripted, very well acted. There's some cheesy moments, as with any horror film, but yeah, smashed it. Absolutely smashed it. Rest assured, if you're an old school horror fan, you will be pleasantly disturbed by this story. Now I have to say, like, be prepared for some really fucked up little moments. Yes, again, it's only a few hours long, but there are some real just discoveries that you make in this game that just make you really despair. But it's good. It's good. It's well done. Very well done. The only critique that I'd have of this game really is that some of the dialogue can be a little bit stilted in places, but Nicole, the main character that you're seeing the story through her eyes, she kind of reacts to everything quite cold, apart from where she's saying, oh god, that really scared me, or that was really fucked up, or whatever, then, but a lot of stuff she reacts to quite stone cold. So, but it's, that's a minor. There's a bunch of stuff that you'll pick up. And I mean, this game has so many sponges and drain cleaners that you can pick up and observe, and cans of beans that you can pick up and observe. And there's no point. There's literally no point. This casebook would have been really handy, where you can like say, where you can go into and say, oh, I looked at this item and these are the memories that it brings up, because, you're supposed to be living the experiences of this character, but you don't have her memories. So there are a lot of times when stuff is obviously very meaningful for her, but you just don't quite have enough backstory in order to make, to get that kind of reaction to the stuff that's going on. So my only real disappointment, I guess, was there's a point in the church where these where this kind of like you kind of wake up and these boards get smashed by this like arm, and there's no payoff to it. There's some disjointed elements, like she's got this hockey music box which just plays the saddest song in the world. It doesn't play like Match of the Day, no, it plays something straight out of Pirates of the Caribbean, like Davy Jones, like Misery box with this hockey character on it. It's like really incongruous, doesn't like quite come off, but hey, minor things. Last criticism is the character moves so slow. I mean, literally changing inventory items or walking, this character is the slowest character on video game record, I swear. I'd have had it that at the dramatic story points that things slow down and you do move slower and the camera does the tilting thing, and great, that would have more of an effect if it came in at certain moments and it slowed you down to so that you could experience the weird stuff that goes on. The ending song didn't quite do it for me. That's just a personal taste thing for me. I'm generally, really left cold by songs. For instance, the end of Final Fantasy 13. Oh god, that really didn't do it for me. But personal taste, man. Yeah, fine, whatever. That's a really minor issue. The first playthrough, yeah, really well worth it. Really, really worthwhile little horror piece. So thumbs up for the most part there. I have to give it credit for bravery as well. This game does not shy away from a lot of gritty subject matter, and it shoves it right in your face, and it lets you deal with it like an adult. Yeah, so thumbs up for respecting the audience, not coddling us. Yep. Overall, I really liked this title. I'd recommend it to adult gamers. As the disclaimer says, I'd definitely handle with care if you've had trouble with anxiety, depression, suicidal tendencies. I wouldn't have played this game a few years ago. I wouldn't have been in a strong enough place to play this. So bear that in mind. If you're going through difficult times, don't play this. Certainly don't play this alone. So let's move on to some more fun ones. Okay, so Limbo was the next title that I got, and god damn, I died in this game so many fucking times. Like, so many deaths. It is so easy to die in this game, and it is harsh, like Super NES times. It is harsh. It will kill you many times, every which way it can. It's a Scandinavian side-scrolling 2D puzzle solver in the bleak underworld of Limbo, replete with monsters, perils, assholes who are out to screw you, pits, traps, saw blades, and puzzles to make you throw the controller across the room. This will frustrate you, this game. It throws you in with literally no explanation, no context. Very basic controls. You can grab certain environment objects, and you can run and you can jump. That's about it. So keep your eyes peeled through this several-hour journey through the quietly malicious landscape of Limbo. Believe me, nearly everything can kill you and will. This game is proper old school 2D like platformer. It's all about timing. There's no hints along the way. You've got to really observe your surroundings and get used to the mechanics of the game, and then you will, find a way through. I mean, there's only a couple of things you can do. You can move things, you can jump, or you can run left or right. So but it's surprising how many puzzles they can create that will totally flummox you. Keep going, go away and think about it, and come back. Don't give up and just find the answer, because everything is solvable. And it's fun when you come back and realize, oh shit, yeah, I didn't think of that. So I loved the art style in this game. It's literally black and grey. Very, very simple. This was obviously quite a low budget title, but they did a great job of really making a story. It's very simple and a very effective game. It's impressive to make such a bleak vista draw you onto its conclusion. I mean, no dialogue, very sparse sound design. The music comes in at certain points to emphasize the loneliness and the sadness, really, of this world that you're trudging through. And I mean, no names, no explanation, and yet they managed to tell quite a story and take you on quite a journey. So there's a definite tang of Little Nightmares to this, and it's not as detailed, but it's more than enough to make this a real enjoyable little adventure through the underworld. The studio that made this made Inside, which is I think the game they made after this, which is next on my list to try because it looks really, really, really good. So next one I got was the reissue of Flashback. This has just flashed up on my Switch news channel, play the reissue of Flashback. Now I played this back on the Mega Drive. My friend had this on the Mega Drive, and it was just, oh wow, 3D cutscenes on a cartridge. This was like groundbreaking, and it was so hard. And to be honest, it still is. I can imagine anyone, sort of modern gamer, playing this and just being like, "This is lame." There's literally no point playing this. But from a nostalgia point of view, playing something that I played back as a kid and never completed, it was fun to revisit. Yeah, definitely going back to Death Tower was fun. But they put in some mod cons for you. So there's a rewind function. If you die, basically you can rewind, and you will, because the controls are still so dodgy that it's really easy to die. And it's, I know emulators, they say save states are cheating, and yeah, they're right. They're right, totally. You need to complete it without, but it is very handy just to have for a nice, casual playthrough. It's really nice when you die to be able to just rewind those few seconds and do it right, So I never knew they did a Sega CD version that was much slicker, and had some the dialogue was all voiced and stuff like that. But hey, that's not even here anyway. So I'd have definitely played that though. The Sega CD was a total bomb, but I knew a friend who had one, and it looked amazing at the time. So, I mean, this game had a really cool story for the time, but I can't really imagine many modern gamers sort of slogging through the fairly superficial story to, see the 16-bit cutscenes. It's for the dinosaurs really. But for old time's sake, I did play it, and as I say, to be reminded of Death Power was appreciated. There is the rewind function, which basically, like an emulator, you can fix any fuck up you make. Consider back in the day, you just basically you went back to the title screen and screamed because you'd have to start the whole game again. After a moment of silence, you just launched the controller across the room. And to be fair, Mega Drive controller was a sturdy piece of engineering. It stood up to some gaming, man. It stood up to punishment. Sega knew how to make something that stood up to punishment. Okay, so finally, for the mini games, this was flashed up on my new Switch news screen again. F-Zero 99, and oh my god, I played this game so much as a kid. I absolutely fucking loved this game. Awesome soundtrack, great graphics for the time, and it was just fun just to play. It was just fun to play. It didn't have the most amazing racing algorithm, because you'd be driving along, and it didn't matter how well you were driving or how fast you were. If you made one mistake, suddenly the guys were on your ass, and you had to they'd overtake you and stuff. But for the time, it was fun, and I remember the manual had this little graphic manga about F-Zero being the fastest race in the galaxy, and all these drivers coming from all over the galaxy to race, and it being really violent, and it was totally like the pod race in Star Wars, but cool. And and then you played the game, and you didn't really get as much of the story. So now, F-Zero 99, oh my god, it's a free-for-all. You literally have 100 drivers, just manic. Oh my god, it's so fun. You have to play it to experience how fun it is. But yeah, it's just crazy. It's as crazy as it seemed in your mind when you read the little manga and played the game. You thought, oh, there's all these drivers from all over the place. And the characters in it, Pico especially, and Captain Falcon, who turned up in Smash Brothers, great. But this is how you imagined the game when you read the little book and played it. This is how you imagined all the other drivers manically overtaking and smashing into you and all that stuff. Oh, it's great. Team games is so much fun, and it's free. Oh, and it's got the original soundtrack, which is, oh my god, this game had one of the best soundtracks ever. I still love this music. It's burned in my brain, and I'm working on a couple of covers, so I'll try and get those out onto videos soon. But awesome music, awesome game, and this reissue is just so much fun, and it keeps all of the stuff that you loved from the original, but it introduces all of the cool stuff like online gaming and having 99 players on a SNES game. Oh, that's awesome. so fun and so manic and so hard, and yeah, definitely worth a play. You know, now that you have to race against 100 other live players, all of these tracks that you mastered back in the day, it doesn't matter because you're racing against 100 other drivers fighting tooth and claw just to survive. It's hard enough. So it takes everything from the original and updates it with new stuff without shitting all over what made it great before. And I know that's easy with a racing game. There's no political issues to get pissed off about, or we've got to take this out because it's not reflective of the time that we live in. All of that stuff. It's just a race. So, but now it's like how you imagined it, but really how you play it. So it's great. If only every remake was this good. If only every reissue was this good. Definitely so much fun. Play it, enjoy it. Yeah, great. Okay, so there are 5 mini games that are worth every penny. F-Zero is free with your Nintendo Switch membership, so no brainer. Yep. Rate all of these games. Definitely worth playing. Okay, so last game that I got was called The Sinking City, and this came out in 2019, I guess. So it's not like it's brand new, but this was a really cool game. Full length feature game set in this Lovecraftian universe, Lovecraftian city, and it basically deals with all of the vile and screwed up things you'd expect from a detective investigating a 1960s era American city. No disrespect there to the US there, because I'll say that worse and more went on in London too. So equality, guys. So this is a really cool game. The graphics are kind of odd. Sometimes the character models are really, really odd. But maybe it was slightly lower quality on the Switch, so maybe that's why things look weird. But yeah, it's Unreal Engine, but character animations are a little bit weird sometimes. But it's cool. It adds to the overall feel of the game. So it's set in this quite medium-sized city. As a comprehensive map, so you won't really get lost. But it looks the part. It's quite bleak, and it's always raining. Nearly always raining. So graphics in general, there's some really lovely light effects. Unreal. It looks good. Well, I don't know. Some of them look good. Perhaps more by luck than judgment. There's some really odd ones in there, but it all contributes to the sense of you're in a make-believe world, like a really weird place. Be prepared for quite a lot of pop-in and stuff just sort of turning up when you walk a bit closer to it. Okay, to be expected, I guess. You could argue it's a deliberate attempt to unsettle you, but I don't think it is. So be a bit forgiving of glitches and stuff. So apart from all of that, this is a detective story which requires you to investigate the source of mass hysteria in this city and the appearance of demonic monsters from the realm next door. And yeah, these are some pretty nasty Lovecraftian horrors, and you will suck hard at the start of the game, and your weapons and your progression tree will be at 0. So expect to die. I mean, if anyone ever played The Evil Within, you will die like that. Like Sebastian running for I think it was 2 seconds before he went out of stamina. That really pissed me off for a long time. But it did add to the feeling of vulnerability. You really felt weak in that game. And original Resident Evil made you feel like that as well. So there are some real survival horror elements to this, which is cool. It's a very slow game, which I like. I like my Star Trek slow and boring, and clearly I like my YouTube videos slow and boring because, yeah, this game is really slow and boring, and I really like it. So it's it's a detective story, and you've got multiple threads, multiple choices, and your choices will impact the story, and you'll end up with different endings based on your choices, whole different story threads based on your choices, which I love, and that takes an experienced writer. That takes it takes a lot of effort, So there's a few graphical pop-ins. The story is awesome and is detailed, and even the side missions. And this game does side missions like bang on point. I mean, Final Fantasy 16. I really fucking love Final Fantasy 16, but the side missions are really, really lame. And I mean, they've got good lore flesh out and stuff, but they're just so routine. And in the Sinking City, I think there was one mission called Through the Looking Glass, which I really, 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 really liked. Total optional mission, and you got to think. It doesn't give you all of the answers, and you got to really like look around the environment. The interface is what changes the difficulty, and you can turn off any interaction icons. So when you're really looking around a crime scene, you have to really check what looks out of place, not just go to the dot, the question mark dot, or go and talk to this guy. It leaves you to really kind of explore like a detective, and I really liked that optional difficulty. I think that really made it feel like a detective story. I really respect a game that's willing to give you the choice to be a total bastard if you choose, and script story consequences that reflect your choices in the game. Because the focus of this game is the story, and apart from Charles's odd delivery of the word "bye" in certain conversations, it's flawlessly scripted and voice acted. Even the extra characters, it's really perfectly done. So, a star, 10 out of 10 for those for those elements of the game, which I'd argue are like the most important. When you've played through games that look like Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, because of the kick-ass story, you know what's important in a game. I had a copy of Lovecraft's Dagon, like short stories, and they were really, really chilling. And it's such a joy to be able to play through a world that's been designed by people who obviously love that source material like as much as me. And so there's loads of little meta nods to Lovecraft fans. Even if you like old Metallica lyrics, you'll spot a few. You'll spot a few little recognizable tracks in there. I'm quite a hardened horror fan, and there was some real nasty moments in this game where I was just like, oh Jesus, this is heavy, man. So be prepared for some real nasty, but very human horror. There was quite a few moments in this when just getting to the end of a side mission or even the main missions, and you're just hit by this truck of humanity at its real fucking worst. And you're just like, oh man, that's pretty heavy. But like in an entertaining way. So this game does not shy away from some very shocking content, but on the other side, there's definitely a couple of really black senses of humor at work in this game, because there's all sorts of in the lore and just in some of the scenes and some of the item descriptions and stuff. There's some really, really black humor at work, which I like. But then I'm none too fond of the sea, fathomless depths, the stuff of nightmares from my past, and I don't like fish and stuff. So that's real nightmarish stuff for me. And the city is just covered in dead leviathans from the sea everywhere. It is brutal. Oh, so this story revolves around a flooded city, and that'll give some Lovecraft fans a clue to the supernatural villain of the game. But you'll be slogging through a world of humanity's denigration, while surrounded by rotting corpses of octopuses and other marine denizens. That's really out of my comfort zone stuff. But I think anyone would be dismayed at the real consequences your actions have during the story. Sometimes you think you've done the noble thing, and then you'll get a note saying, oh, yeah, so-and-so died in a really, really horrific way, even though you thought you saved them. So, this game don't let you off easy. Have you questioning your moral decisions all the way through, which, that takes fucking balls for a story to really make you feel, did I do the right thing there, Trust, we're not getting that level of storytelling from mainstream cinema at the moment, so this is where to get it. I recommend this game to anyone who likes a real fucking horror story and likes to be faced with the disturbing and desperate truth of the darkness of humanity. I thoroughly enjoyed this game. It's rare that a modern title can really capture the darkness of a writer like Lovecraft. But as the intro disclaimer states, then this is not your average certain dictatorship approved title. Well worth it 10 times over. I couldn't take videos of my playthrough, but I couldn't stop snapping screenshots during my playthrough. So, like so many quirky and off-key moments, they all contribute to a real unputdownable experience. So that's 5 games that I played on the Switch, which were damn good value and made a real worthwhile alternative to PlayStation. So there we go. First video. I'm going to do you a little Final Fantasy victory fanfare on guitar. Sign off and see you next time. All right, this is Summer by Styx, guys. Thanks.